It's December 14th, 2018.
And this is Nerd Bourbon episode 80. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill.
Hello, Todd.
Hello, Seth.
How are you, Todd?
In pain.
Isn't life just pain?
I have that see when you have a shit body, you have that little when you first wake up pain before you adjust.
It's not even like when I really the most anguish that I'm in a given day is those first steps out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel I'm like the sun in Rick and Morty. Like we're in that episode of Rick and Morty where the sun's just screaming constantly.
Yep. It's just like the first 30 minutes of an hour to an hour of my day, or like when I fucking first wake up, is just pure ass. It's just like it takes a little bit for my body to get just to my workable state of pain.
I know how that is. I had a busy day yesterday, Todd. I went Christmas shopping. I went to see the Christmas lights in Natchitoches, which was cool. But then I was also, every time we go, like, I wanted to go this year because I need a little Christmas. I need some Christmassy shit in my life this year. And like, I wanted to go this year, but every time we go, I'm always just like, man, like, this is kind of dumb. Because like, they hardly ever change the lights. Like, it's really pretty. Like, there's a lot of like lights on the riverfront and stuff, and like it looks great. But it's the same lights year after year, and the shops close like absurdly early, so we can't even sort of futz around downtown or anything. It's just annoying, but It is what it is. I wanted to talk about, since we probably aren't going to do a shots on it, because Lord knows when you'll see it. But I did go and see Wreck-It Ralph 2 yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to pop real quick and just sort of talk about Wreck-It Ralph 2. And it's good. It's good. I don't think it's as good as the first movie. It's weirdly enough. So the last movie that I think I saw in theaters, I'm pretty sure was Incredibles 2. Because with the wedding and everything, I just have not had time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm pretty sure that's the last movie I saw in theaters. And weirdly enough, my big problem with Incredibles 2 is my same big problem with Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Really?
And it's that the movie sort of flirts with a bunch of interesting themes. And then, like, at the very end, it sort of picks one. Frankly, it picks the least interesting one. And just sort of doubles down on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's a nice message, like, overall, but the movie was saying, like, 3 or 4 other more interesting things, like, leading up to that moment, where the movie sort of decides what it really wants to say,
yeah.
But it is, aside from that, like, so that sort of annoys me, I guess, as a writer. Like, I was talking to my wife about it, and she totally loved it, and she was not, like, that didn't affect her opinion of it at all.
Well, yeah, because you're like a fucking English teacher.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, the movie had, like, some really interesting things, and I was like, oh, so this movie's going to be about this. Oh, okay, well, never mind. This movie's going to be about this. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, well, shit, this movie's, these are some interesting things it's saying. And then, like I said, it takes one and just doubles down on it at the very end, which, is fine. It didn't, like, detract a ton from the movie. The movie is very, very funny. I think the movie's actually way funnier than the first one. Because, the first one, you'll get some chuckles or whatever. But this one is, like, has a breakneck laughter pace. Like, almost like, it reminds me of almost like the Lego movie, with how, like, the laughs per second are very high.
Okay.
It's a lot funnier, and there are a lot of cool references, like, just like the first one, a lot of cool, like, Easter eggs and stuff. Although this one is even cooler because it pulls from the sort of, like, Disney universe in its entirety. Mm-hmm. So, like, as you've probably seen from the trailers, the Disney princesses are, like, a pretty large part of the movie.
Yeah.
Especially once they get to the actual internet or whatever. The Disney princesses play a pretty large role, and oddly enough, this movie was a fucking stark realization of like, oh, that's right, Disney owns Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see a little bit of it in the trailers with like X-Wings and like stormtroopers and stuff like that, but there's actually like a pretty good bit of Star Wars in this movie.
Oh, damn.
And it's just weird. Like, it's just that realization of like, wow, like, because, you know, Disney is kind of like, I don't think you really feel Disney's grip on Star Wars, you know? Like, it's not like you see Mickey Mouse in all the Star Wars movies or anything like that. Like, like, even though Disney owns Star Wars, they're pretty hands-off with it, right? And, like, I mean, I guess some would say they aren't, but I feel like they're pretty hands-off. So to see a movie like this, and to see Star Wars, like, represented in a Disney movie, it's so strange. It's, like, it's so strange just be like, wow, like, Star Wars is a Disney brand now. Mm-hmm. You know? And it was the first time that I think that realization has ever really hit me as watching this movie. Like, but I don't know. It was good though. I liked it. It's worth seeing for sure. Like, it's a good sequel. It's not easy to make a good sequel. There's some shit in there that like isn't gonna hold up in a few years. Like, there's some time capsule stuff, you know, where it's just like, ugh. And like you can kind of tell like when they started making this movie, like there were things that were in back then that aren't really in anymore, so it's like a little bit late on that. You know, so it's just, that's the nature of like making a movie about the internet. Like, nothing is going to stand the test of time because the internet just moves so quickly, you know. But
honestly, it'll probably be one of those movies I just wait for it to come out.
Yeah, well, and movies come out so quickly now on home video that, you know, it's not going to be long before you can just watch it at home.
Honestly, probably the next movie I'm actually going to go to the theaters for is probably like Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see. There are a lot of movies that I've wanted to see. Like, I heard that The Grinch wasn't good, but I still want to see it, just because I just like that story. It would be very hard to make a Grinch movie that I wouldn't like, honestly. And yeah, I want to see Aquaman. Like, I haven't even seen Fantastic Beasts, and like
I keep on forgetting about that movie.
And I'm like a huge Harry Potter fan. I just haven't had the time. Like, it's so hard to make the time to go to the movies these days. And like, I have that Cinemark movie club. I have like 6 free movie tickets.
I thought you canceled it.
Yeah, I did cancel it, but I still have the tickets. So like, the tickets don't like expire or go away when you cancel it. But I canceled it just because I'm like, we just never get to go out to the movies, you know? I literally, the next like 3 movies we go out and see we're not even going to pay for.
God bless.
So, but yeah, I want to see Aquaman. I want to see Into the Spider-Verse, you know?
That's another movie I forgot about.
Like, I absolutely want to see both of those. And I don't know, man, there's a lot that I want to see. But yesterday I was like, Wreck-It Ralph 2, let's do it. And it was good. I liked it. Like I said, I figured it wasn't going to be something we would do a shots on, so figured I would talk about it. Todd, what have you been up to this week?
Killing myself.
Well, in terms of video games,
you
have to save that for the depression podcast we do on the side.
Is it wrong? I want to do that.
Probably could.
I easily could. Shit, video game wise, what have I been doing? Smash, really.
Smash is the big one, for sure. Smash is the big boy.
Oh yeah, and also, I don't know why the fuck I just did a blank on that. We both got Black Ops 4.
This is also true. We got Black Ops 4 for like half off. On a stupid like 1-day Amazon sale.
Yeah, you're fucking messaging me. It's like, if you do it, I'll do it.
Well, I was looking at it and I was like, man, like, because I'd been interested in it, like in some of the things that it was doing or whatever, and I'd heard that, the people that play it really like it, so I was like, you know what, Todd, like, this is half off. If you pull the trigger on this, I'll pull the trigger on this, and you're like, fuck it. So
it's kind of working out because it's like, shit, Battlefield 5's kind of already dead.
I know, isn't that fucked up? We went to play Battlefield 5 like a few days ago, and like nobody was on. Like, we couldn't find games. It was like hard to find games. And then even when we found games,
It would be like 4v4. At one point, it
Yeah.
was dead ass 2v2.
yeah, the games would just have no people in it. And I was just, oh my god, is this game like already fucking dead? Like, I mean, I had read reports like leading up to the game's release that EA was not like happy with this with the pre-order numbers and stuff like that. It's got me a little bit worried about like the future of Battlefield, honestly, because like if these games don't do well, it's like, are they gonna bother wasting their time with them?
Yeah.
Because vice versa, Battlefront 2, right? You can still jump into that game and find a full game like no problem.
Oh, we jumped into a game. We jumped into full games like nothing because we actually switched. That's actually the game we jumped on after Battlefield 5.
Yeah,
And it was just like,
and
all right,
that's
cool.
and that's the game that everybody like loves to hate, right? That's the one that everybody's like, with all the microtransaction drama and all that stuff, and like that. If that game and that game came out over a year ago now, if that game is still thriving, and Battlefield 5 is already dead, that doesn't bode well, dude.
That definitely doesn't. I mean, it didn't help. Like, I haven't even touched it since then, actually. And it's because, like, they fucked with my shit. And I don't know if it's fixed yet.
Yeah.
Is they locked out my throwing knives, and it's like, all right.
And I think it was, I really do think it was a pretty major mistake for Battlefield to not launch with the Battle Royale mode.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, here's the thing with me. I don't like to bounce around with my multiplayer shooters. So, like, when we're sitting there playing Call of Duty, I'm like, oh, wow, like, Blackout is really fun. And, oh, wow, the main multiplayer mode is really fun. So, like, why would I bounce between this and Battlefield? You know?
Yeah, it's like we also didn't even fuck with zombies yet, and we both wanted to do that. So.
Yeah, definitely want to check that out. And just like it's like Black Ops 4 feels like a very cohesive package, and it's kind of like that itch is already being scratched there under one roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of people probably feel that way. It's like, yeah, the core mechanics, like Battlefield 5 is good, don't get me wrong. Like, mechanically it is sound. I like pretty much everything Battlefield 5 is doing as a sequel to Battlefield 1. It's a good Battlefield game, and it does a lot of things right. But, like, if the people aren't there, I can't play it.
Honestly, it's like, it's the thing with, like, not having Battle Royale ready, and that shit's going to be, like, next year.
Yeah, I don't think that's even coming until, like, spring 2019.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of just dumb decisions with like the marketing and whatnot, and the marketing for the game like killed it for a lot of people.
Well, like, and just them choosing to not launch with Battle Royale, right?
Well, that's the main one, honestly.
That immediately you have less value than your competition does.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because Battle Royale is the new thing, and like you didn't launch with it.
Well, I mean, just like I said, dead ass. Like, you have less. There is less going on objectively with Battlefield 5 than with Call of Duty, and yeah, they have the single player campaign, but spoilers, that doesn't really seem to matter to the core audience. That's another thing. I'm thinking to myself, is Call of Duty ever gonna have another campaign again? Because Black Ops 4, despite the fact that it doesn't have a campaign, is still like the best-selling game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, why would they ever bother with a campaign with Call of Duty ever again? And I gotta be honest with you, like, I think I mentioned this on the podcast. I'm like, I don't know that if it were me making those decisions, I don't know that I would have given Battlefield 5 a single-player campaign.
It's really not even like a campaign. It's like the fucking war stories. I hate that shit.
It's just you dump a lot of like effort and money and man hours into these campaigns, and like most of your audience doesn't even play it. So I just think the value proposition of Battlefield 5 is way less than Black Ops 4. Mm-hmm. Which is a weird thing to say for a package that does not include a campaign, but like honestly, you don't need one. I don't feel that Black Ops 4 is missing anything without a campaign. I don't miss it. I'm good. You know.
Exactly. It's like because shit, Black Ops is kind of like the perfect game for me on like days that I work and I want to like play some games because it's
Yeah,
just like just brainless. I jump on there for like maybe an hour, done.
it's really good. Turn your brain off. Play a multiplayer shooter. Like, Blackout is a little more intense. You got zombies if you want something that's more cooperative. You've got the standard multiplayer if you want to just kind of chill. Like, it's good, and like I'm liking it so far, and I'm surprised by that. I was not expecting to like it as much as I am, and it honestly, I think it kind of like systematically killed Battlefield. Not even just for the community, but like for me as well.
Yep.
Honestly.
It's a weird thing. Like, cause I really enjoy Battlefield, but it's just like if I can't play it, it's like what's the fucking point?
I mean, seriously, we probably tried to play that game for like over an hour the other day.
Yeah.
And
And
we were in there just wasting our time. Really. And it's just I don't know. It bums me out. It bums me out because I do like the game. And I like Battlefield and I don't want to see Battlefield go away, but it's hard to justify its existence right now, honestly. Like it really is. Smash is the big one that we got. I did also pick up the kind of remaster of Katamari Damacy on Switch.
That come out?
Yes, it did. Katamari Damacy Reroll. It actually came out the same day as Smash.
Oh, I did not even know that.
And I was gonna wait on it. I was gonna be like, I really don't need something else to play. But that game is so unique. Like that Katamari. Have you ever played Katamari?
I never beat it, but I have played it.
Yeah, it is so unique. There's nothing else like it, and like it's been kind of nice to just jump into it for like 30 minutes and just relax. And like there's something zen like about just rolling around and like grabbing shit and making a ball out of it. Like and like just the visuals and the music. Like Katamari is so singularly unique and funny and has like good art. And yeah, I don't know, like it kind of made it like sort of an irresistible, like when I actually saw it sitting there on the Switch eShop, I actually just something overtook me, and the next thing I knew my credit card was $30 poorer. So
Oh, God bless.
I just had to have it, and it's fun. I recommend it. It's a good remake. Although you kind of forget, it's been a long time since I've played it. You kind of forget how fucked up Katamari's controls are. Because, like, even simple things, even, like, just loading your game, you can't just press the A button. No, it's Katamari. You have to actually, like, roll your ball into the into the file select.
Oh, no. I don't remember that. Is that a thing?
Yeah, you have to actually, like, push the sticks forward as if you were rolling the ball into the file select. You can't just, like... It actually took me a second to remember that you had to do that. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm hitting A. I can't... What? I was like, is something wrong with my Pro Controller? I stood up and, like, went to my Switch and pressed A on the Joy-Con, And no, you have to actually, like, roll your ball forward to select the... And it just, it feels a little bit weird, but oddly, once you get into, like, a flow state with it, it feels totally fine. And I know you're sick of me talking about it, but the HD Rumble is good.
Oh, God damn.
It's a good use of the HD Rumble. I like it. It's a good...
Power of the Switch.
The power of the Switch. But Todd, obviously, the big thing that we need to talk about is Smash. I mean, Smash is the big release. I have put... I'll say this. The game, at the time of this recording, the game has not even been released for a week yet. It's been released for, 5 days? At the time we're recording this or something like that? 4 days? And I've already put, 25 hours into it.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that.
I've been addicted to this. It has been, since it released, it has been, the only game I can... if I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about playing it.
I basically have been just sitting to myself. I'm like, just make it to your off days, Todd. Then you're just gonna that's all you're gonna fucking do on your off days.
The game is so fun. I love it. It's so weird. It's like the perfect middle ground, I think. It's got the single player component stuff, because like with the exception of that little bit of time that I spent playing with you the other day, like I haven't really fucked with multiplayer stuff at all. I've spent all this time just playing by myself for the most part. So
In the world of light.
the World of Light is a major part of it, and I definitely want to talk about that, but I've also just been chilling, just like playing through classic mode and like
Yeah, I don't remember. I did one classic mode run. I don't remember. I think it was with Ness.
yeah, I like playing through classic mode or doing the spirit board, which I've been getting really into, and for me it's the perfect marriage both in terms of content and gameplay of like the two kind of like schools of thought when it comes to Smash. Like there are the people that are very much like, Brawl fans where they want a big, meaty Subspace Emissary. They want a lot of like single player content, and then there's sort of the melee Smash 4 kind of people who want it to be strictly multiplayer focused. And this game is like, oh, you don't actually have to choose.
Yeah, it's in perfect balance is all things.
The only way in which I think that this game fucked up, honestly, is I think it was a huge mistake to make it to where you have to unlock all the fighters.
Okay.
I think that was a huge mistake because I think maybe you could have done that for like local play. Maybe it's like, oh well, if I want to play, classic mode with these characters, or if I want to do anything.
It's a little weird if you go online. When you go online, you're kind of fucked with like you're like have just only the starting motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you and I were to jump online right now, I would have all of them unlocked, and you wouldn't. Like that's weird.
Yeah, like that ass would. Yeah, that's kind of garbage.
That's weird, and I'm a little bit like I kind of wish that they would have given people, because there are people who don't want to fuck with World of Light, and there are people who don't want to sit there and grind out all of these character unlocks. They just want to hop into multiplayer, and I'm a little bit annoyed that the game has put up a barrier for those people. And I just wish that the multiplayer was kind of a separate thing. Like when you go online, just make it so that I just have all of my shit.
Yeah, all the characters will be there. Boom, done.
Yeah, but like for kind of like local play or single player stuff, like I could understand making them unlockables. Because it is fun to work through World of Light and unlock all the characters and stuff, and I 100% at it. World of Light is a massive undertaking as a player.
Oh, I know, and I'm only in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know how far you are into it, but it's a journey, that's for sure. I think my final clock time was like 17 plus hours with World of Light. So it takes a while. It's not a short mode at all if you want to go through World. And that was just me, like, and it's hard. Like even having to turn it down to like easy. That shit is hard in some places.
Yeah, honestly, it's like the moment you were telling me that, I'm like, shit, I guess I'll just come into this bitch easy.
Seriously, like I was dead ass. I was like, no, like especially like the last. So there are like 3 endings to it, and the quote unquote true ending it's very obvious. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but for the story such as it is, but it's very obvious sort of which path you have to go for the true ending, and it's hard. Like, it's difficult. And I'll say this, though. The World of Light, going through it, fully exploring it, is 100% worth it if you're a diehard Nintendo fan. Like, it is just filled with fan service. And things that, as a lifelong Nintendo fan, just made me smile, like, hard. And there's so much like love and care put into some of the fan servicey things in this game, where I'm just like, God, like it's actually impressive. I'm just like, I actually am just like, man, I actually can't believe you guys did this. The ending of World of Light, and again, I won't spoil it, but I will say that the true ending of World of Light indulges the player in something that you've always wanted to do in Smash. a kind of a lifelong like Smash Brothers dream, this game indulges you in that, and it is so cool. You almost it like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what was happening when it was happening, and it's so fucking cool that I'm like, that was worth the 17 hours of like slogging through it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the ending is so good when you go down the true ending route. Like I said, I could not believe it. When it happened, I actually was like in disbelief that it was happening. It's so
I'm looking
cool.
forward to actually seeing it for myself.
It's so cool. And again, the game is just, World of Light is just peppered with fan service like that. And it's more than just like going through different spaces and fighting, against CPU opponents. Like there's actual like RPG elements and like puzzle solving and stuff like that. And the spirit system is actually like pretty deep, like way more deep than I thought. I mean, I know you haven't put as much time into it as I have, but like how, in these preliminary stages, how have you found it?
Overwhelming.
It is overwhelming.
It's just like, it's like the more you play, the more it opens up, and you're just like, fuck.
Oh my god, that is so true. Especially like I thought the game was gonna end like twice, and just more shit popped up.
But I was telling you this like when I was first playing. I'm like, dude, this is fucking impressive. I didn't expect much from it, but like even just like the little like a couple hours I've played, I'm just like, all right, I'm completely head down for this shit. It's great. Been having a lot of fun with it.
There are a lot of people who find it just very monotonous because I mean, there's more to it than this, but like if you want to look at it from a sort of reductive point of view, you could say like, oh, it's just going from point to point and fighting a bunch of spirits. And
if you want to be a jackass about it, yeah.
But there is a lot more to it than that, and it is deeper. It's it's greater than the sum of its parts, as people say. But it's there's a lot going on there, and I found a lot to enjoy in World of Light. I don't know that I'm super duper like itching to dive back in just because of how long it is. I almost wish that like Subspace Emissary, and by the way, I do think that this is like just objectively better than Subspace Emissary, just because do I sort of miss the like frequency of cutscenes? Yes, because I do just love the Smash Brothers cutscenes. You just don't get that many of them in this game. In terms of the things you're actually doing, like Subspace is pretty like kind of dumb. Like yeah, it was a lot of battling, but it was also like the stupid like break the targets and stuff like that.
I've always hated those.
It's like just I don't know. It's a little dumb. Part of me kind of misses them because it's a little bit like if this is supposed to be the ultimate representation of Smash, it'd be kind of. I'm a little bit like, why isn't that in there, and why isn't the home run contest in here and stuff like that? But ultimately, I think that World of Light just winds up being a much better, like more fun to play through package than Subspace Emissary, and it's way longer. Subspace Emissary is like 7 to 8 hours. This is like 3 times that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like people who are playing on like higher difficulties. I mean, they're logging like 30 hours. So yeah, it's definitely a dedication thing. I will say if you do 100% World of Light, you will unlock all the characters in the game by the end of it. So that is nice. And there are other faster ways of unlocking characters. Game Explain has done videos on it and stuff, but
well, what's the fastest way?
The fastest way is there's sort of an exploit where the way the game throws new challengers at you is every 10 minutes you get a new fight, right? And and basically what you do is you get your fight, you win it, and then you go home and like reset the game, and that resets the timer. So essentially you're just getting like a bunch of fights in quick succession, like exploiting the in-game timer that way.
Okay.
Which is fine. But that's still, you're going to be grinding for like 70 fighters. Is that the fastest way to do it? Yes. That's also very monotonous, in my opinion. I think that's way more monotonous than actually just playing through World of Light. like sitting there and grinding like that. I don't like that. And then even then, that doesn't unlock all of the fighters. I think you have to do like 3 challenge mode runs to unlock certain fighters. So, or it's like just play through World of Light and you get everybody, you know. So, and I even just on like a gameplay level, I want to talk about like some of the reworks. Like you and I have both really enjoyed Link's rework.
Oh, dude, like Link's been my boy in World of Light.
It's so weird. Link has been like my main. Like I've never mained Link ever in a Smash game. And like he has become like one of my favorite characters to play. And they didn't even rework him that intensely, but he just feels better in this one.
He just feels good. Like he just feels good to play. I think the only character that'll probably get me to switch in World of Light is probably Ness when I unlock him.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Because I just like playing Ness.
You've always been a Ness fan. So I don't blame you on that one. But it's I don't know, like I really like some of these sort of character tweaks. And I mean, yeah, it's sort of the game is sort of built on the bones of Smash 4, right? But it does feel like a pretty significant change. Like these characters don't feel exactly the same as they did. All of them have been reworked at least a little bit. You know, there are characters that I'm disappointed in. There are characters I really like all of the new fighters. So like, Incineroar is a lot of fun. He's sort of like he's gonna be hard to master, but he's fun to mess around with. He's got a lot of fun moves. Ridley is, I think, going to be one of my mains because Ridley is just like the ultimate troll character. I swear to God, like, the amount of annoying shit that Ridley can do is unreal. Like, Ridley can do this shit where, like, like, he can be just, like, floating in the air and then just do, like, a quick slam, and then, like, just over and over and over, basically pogoing off of your ass.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's bad. It's so bad. And then, like, Ridley's grab is really annoying, and Ridley has sort of a dash grab. If you know how to play Ridley, that is going to be an annoying ass character. K. Rool is really fun. Like K. Rool sort of feels like a bulky, almost like a combination of Bowser and Bowser Jr. to me.
Okay.
I like him a lot. He's a lot of fun. I think all the new characters are very like nailed.
Stop showing your character privilege.
I will say that like I'm a little bit disappointed in Isabelle. Because Isabelle's in this weird space where she's not really an Echo fighter. She is very similar to Villager, but she's also kind of her own thing. Like she has enough new moves to where she's not really an Echo fighter. She is considered technically a new character, but it is basically impossible to be good with Isabelle. Like her moves are so niche, and like some of them are good. Like I really like, and you're actually getting annoyed because I was playing Isabelle.
Well, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, what the fuck?
She's got this move where she buries a Lloyd into the ground, and when you walk over it, it like shoots you into the air and gets a few hits on you. But like her side smash is so like you have to basically be touching her for that to hit you. Mm-hmm. And her down smash is really annoying. 'Cause it's like kind of almost like a stop sign kind of appears, and she has her side B is she throws out like a fishing rod and grabs you, which is fine. But again, it's like she just I hate playing as her. Like she's probably my least favorite character, and it sucks because I love Isabelle as a character, but I hate playing as her. Like I dread whenever I see her pop up in the random randoms that we play. I dread it. But you know, it's cool. I really like the way that the online is set up, even though we have experienced quite a bit of lag.
The main lag we came across was on one of the moving maps.
Yeah, we played on that shitty like Pac-Man world stage or whatever, and
it was bad, dude. It was unreal. Like it was just like really it was bad. Like honestly to see who could outplay the lag.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. And then like but I like the structure of it. I like the setup of it. Like
Yeah, I like the way you can basically have like your maps and player like fighters basically set up before you even get into the game.
Yeah, you can set it up to where you're kind of in this like arena. You can actually make custom rule sets that are persistent now, and I have like a saved rule set kind of based on the way that Todd and I like to play, and I can quite literally just make a room. Todd can easily join that room, and we can set up our fighters like well before before we decide to start the match, and it's nice. Like I actually really like it. It's really streamlined. I hope that some of the online kinks are ironed out. I'm hoping that that lag that we encountered was just sort of from like launch week lag, you know.
Hopefully, because that shit was bad.
Hopefully it'll sort of peter off, as the game goes on. They'll probably boost their server capacity a little bit, and hopefully some people will. I'm like, we didn't listen to Sakurai. He warned us of this. He told us to buy one of those network adapters, and we didn't listen. But no, it's a very, very complete package. Like I haven't felt this satisfied by a game's amount of content in a long time. Like this game is so worth $60. Like $60 feels like a steal to get this game, honestly. Like it's one of those few games where it's like man, like I'm gonna be playing this for like hundreds of hours.
Shit. I think both of us paid more than 60.
Well, yeah, I mean we got the fighter pass, but
Yeah.
I just mean that like in terms of the sheer amount of content in the game, it's like it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd, and I can't wait to just play more. Like even me, like I said, I put like 24, 25 hours into it, and I feel like I've barely scratched the surface.
Shit. Stop saying some shit like that.
There's so much
It
to do.
overwhelms me.
There's so much to do, and then like I was telling you before, the spirit board is really cool, where it's like this bounty board of like unique spirits that you can fight and collect, and like there's certain spirits that are exclusive to the spirit board. There's the shops, there's the classic mode. The challenges have reappeared, and you have the challenge board that you can kind of clear. And man, there's a lot. There's just a lot, and I'm kind of like anxious. Part of me is like, oh my god, I really don't want to do New Game Plus on World of Light. But part of me is like, oh, I kind of really do, because like Sakurai put some shit that's like exclusive to the New Game Plus section.
Oh, shit. I feel like that's just...
There's probably, I bet you there's like exclusive bosses to New Game Plus and stuff like that.
No, I can definitely see it, yeah.
That's another thing. There's like boss fights in this game. There's puzzles to solve on the World of Light map. It's like, fuck. It's just, this game is deep, man. It's deep, and it's well worth your time. I don't know. I don't want to drone on and on about it, but it's really, really good. I think that's pretty much all I've been playing this week, though, yeah?
Yeah.
So you ready to dive into some news? You ready to talk about the news?
Yeah.
All right, talk about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well.
Go ahead, talk about the news. No, so I want to start the news. It's been a big news week because we did have 2 fucking game shows take place, like just littered with announcements. And we're definitely going to talk about that. But the sort of the biggest news item that I want to highlight before we get into that is that Capcom has announced an expansion for Monster Hunter World launching next autumn. It's called Iceborne, and Capcom says to expect Iceborne to be huge with new weapons, quests, environments, and monsters. What do you make of this?
Who the fuck are you talking to?
Exactly.
Daddy is ready. Daddy is waiting and ready.
You actually did you actually watch the reveal?
Yeah.
How was that?
That's why I knew about it was just a quick little like fucking video thing. That's why I knew about the whole like I mean they didn't just announce like they were talking about some other shit. Like crap that I didn't care about, like, oh yeah, we're getting rid of standard Kulv-Taroth. Now there's gonna be arch-tempered Kulv-Taroth. It's like cool, I guess. I mean, apparently it is gonna have like different moves and shit, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is they've done that already with Arch-Tempered Xeno'jiiva. But then then they announced the Witcher crossover.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this until you said something. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, they announced a little Witcher crossover. I'm wondering what they're gonna do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm wondering if it's gonna be, because it does look like they got the fucking voice actor for Buddy.
Yeah.
Like that whole, he's, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what they're gonna be doing with it. I'm probably gonna fuck with it. I don't know where they're gonna go with it, but then yeah, the other announcement was like, they're talking about Arch-Tempered Nergigante, which is like, I mean, that was like a no-brainer. I knew that shit was gonna happen.
That was just a matter of time, honestly.
Yeah, I was like, I'm assuming he's gonna suck.
Shit, I still have,
it's funny,
scars from fucking.
Well, let me tell you this. It's hilarious though. Nergigante, standard, even tempered, is nothing to me.
Okay.
I solo that shit in my sleep.
Right.
Because like all his shit is I think he's a good wall in the beginning of the game. But right. I can definitely see if they do some dumb shit with the Arch-Tempered, I'm ready for it. Like I'm actually looking forward to that as an Arch-Tempered fight.
He was definitely the first like wall for me.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing. Like he's basically the wall to like, that is kind of where you're gonna start hitting some of the end game shit for the most part. But yeah, looking forward to that. And then the main thing is the little teaser we got for fucking Iceborne. And I'm just yes, like you said something. We were talking like when I got off of work today. It's just like they should have come out with this like now type of shit.
Yeah, I just the game has been out. The game came out in what, May or April or something like that.
Something like it was like May.
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, to me, it's like, and I respect the fact that they've been like updating the game with like persistent free updates and stuff like that. But this would have been the perfect if they had said, hey, it's December. Here's a big meaty expansion, literally called Iceborne, that takes place in like an iced over kind of world. Yeah, with new environments.
It's a thing, like, Monster Hunter World is in, like, such a weird state for me now. Because it's like, if there's, like, some big update that I give a shit about, or a little update either way, I'll jump on, fuck with it, and then I'll go back to not playing it.
Yeah, and that's cool, and that's fine. I think a lot of people are probably in that zone, and I think the hardcore...
But the hardcore people are like, yeah, they're just playing the shit out of it.
Yeah, of course. Like, the hardcore Monster player fans are not going to stop playing Monster Hunter, but... for the people, that kind of like, I know that I'm not alone. Like in that, I would have jumped back in if Iceborne was coming out like this winter. I would have jumped back in, for sure. But like,
give you another taste. But now it's like, yeah, I think even you said it. It's like now it's like it'll be out like with next fucking year. It's like, do you really give a shit?
Yeah, like next. Fall.
I give a shit.
Like next fall. I mean, that's far, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I give a shit. I know I'm going to fucking pay for it. I know I'm going to, like, play the hell out of it. But it's just, for somebody like you who... Because you were always, like, talking about, like, if they ever had, like, a big update, you would have jumped back in. Like, a big old expansion.
Yeah, that's what I was really waiting on. Because, like, that sort of... the sort of free post-game, like, updates, that's all cool and stuff like that. But that's not really... It's not blowing my skirt up. You know what I mean? I wanted, like... I wanted something big and, like... like a big expansion. I wanted this, basically. And I understand that Iceborne is probably a big undertaking for Capcom and stuff like that, but I just wish that they had, like, put out something. Maybe if it wasn't, like, on the scale that Iceborne's probably going to be. Like, it's just, when they finally release that DLC, the game is going to be, like, a year and a half old.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, fuck. Like... I have to imagine that a lot of your fan base will have moved on after that point. A year and a half is a big ask for, even hardcore players to play your game for a solid year and a half like that. And you're going to sustain those players for a year and a half just with your free updates? That to me just doesn't make sense. I think the smart thing would have been to release, even if it meant doing it at a smaller scale, release the expansion with the new environment and the new monsters and all that. Release that this winter. And even if you'd done that, that could probably have sustained them for another year. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Something meatier. I don't know. I'm just a little bit surprised. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, it's cool that, for the fans, like, I'm glad that Iceborne is a thing, but I'm sort of checked out to it. I think that it was a big mistake not to have it ready for this year. Or even early next year. It's not. It's you're going to have to wait.
It's fucking fall.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait nearly a year from now to play the Monster Hunter expansion. I mean, the weight of that.
I'm in the vein of... I enjoy the fuck out of that game. I'll be there day one for it.
Got a couple of other news items before we start talking about the shows that we had this week. Sort of a small piece of news, but I did want to shout it out. Call of Duty Black Ops 4's first premium DLC has been leaked. Sort of the like multiplayer map pack 1, I guess, has been leaked.
Okay.
Players in Australia noticed that they were able to download and play the DLC's 2 new multiplayer maps, Madagascar and Elevation. And they've actually been able to like post the footage to YouTube and stuff like that. And they were also able to access and post footage of the new Dead of the Night Zombies mode, confirming that actors Kiefer Sutherland and Charles Dance appear in the new mode.
All right.
So basically, pre-release leaks of new stuff coming to Black Ops 4 has already been revealed. And I think some people are a little bit underwhelmed that it's like, oh, it's only 2 maps, But, Call of Duty, Eurogamer sort of points out here that Call of Duty DLC packs have traditionally included 4 new maps alongside a zombies entry. So a total of 12 maps are said to be planned for Black Ops 4, so some fans are speculating that Treyarch and publisher Activision Blizzard may be planning to spread them out over 6 releases of 2 maps each.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense. They're probably just going to have their... I mean, that's sort of the way that gaming is now, right? Like, the frequent updates, the constantly updating game, right? So it's probably honestly smart of them to release smaller updates more quickly. It's probably a smart thing. I don't begrudge Activision for doing that. And I'm not going to lie, like, playing Call of Duty and stuff more, and it sort of being my main shooter, you were even saying, like, I think I might actually buy that fucking...
I did buy it.
Oh, did you? You actually bought it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said fuck it. I dropped it. Well, the thing is, like, it worked out because I actually didn't even pay full price for it.
Right, that's right. I remember that now. Yeah, you were like, I got like $15 or whatever from PlayStation, and I'm like, how? Like, I don't know. It was some promotion where I bought some shit. I bought, it was like their pre-order. What was it like?
Yeah, I bought 2 games between a certain month or whatever, and yeah,
I was like, I want $15. Where's my $15?
You bought your games too early, boy.
And that's exactly what it was. You were reading about it or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck? So hang on a second. I don't get $15 because I pre-ordered these games back in like June. Because that was my thing. Back like right after E3, basically, I was like, all right, these are the games I'm getting this fall. I'm just gonna buy them all. So I dead ass, like I pre-ordered like Battlefield and Red Dead and Fallout and all these games. I just went ahead and just bought them all. Darksiders, like I just bought all of them.
And you were a fool. No.
Apparently so, because like they were like, if you pre-ordered between September and November, you get $15. I'm like, what the fuck? I want $15. Like, I gave you the money just like Todd did. I gave you more money, bitch. It's like shit. Where's my $15?
So yeah, I ended up getting it for like $35 or some shit, like the pass.
That's cool.
So I was like, fuck it.
I can't complain too much because I ended up getting Smash. Even with the fighter pass, I ended up getting Smash for like $30.
Yeah, because that's how much that's how you play your Switch too damn much and buy too many games.
I do. I have so many Switch games. I love my Switch. It's so good. I got one more piece of news here, real quick. Actually, 2 quick things. First of all, did you see that fucking Sonic the Hedgehog movie poster?
No.
Have you not seen this?
No.
Oh, hang on. I'm gonna link you to this real quick in Discord because we're gonna get your live reaction to this movie poster.
Oh God, what sort of bullshit am I about to see?
There, I just posted it. It is a silhouette of, I guess, how they're going to be interpreting Sonic the Hedgehog in this movie.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
He is... How should I say this? He looks like a human wearing a Sonic head.
Yes.
He has, like, musculature.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now I understand some of the pictures I've been seeing.
Oh, yeah?
I saw somebody like how I envisioned Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was like the fucking Thing 1, Thing 2 from fucking the Cat in the Hat movie. With,
Yeah.
what's his fucking...
Yeah. It's bad, dude. He has like long like human arms and like
It's weird.
muscular human legs and like the head looks okay.
Like there's, and you know what's weird? It looks like there's like no it looks like there's like no like blue fur on his hands.
Yeah, it's strange, and I don't like it at all. You know, the sort of uncanny valley like Detective Pikachu shit like coupled with this.
And also, I didn't know that there was going to be a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh, you didn't even know about that?
I didn't even know about that.
Oh, let me educate you, Todd. That's coming out next year. And it's got Ben Schwartz as Sonic, and it's got Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. It's a thing that's happening.
I don't think it needs to happen, but
it's so strange. We're back in this sort of like 90s video game movie aesthetic. It's like the Mario movie, you know, where like it's like these strange interpretations of like fictional characters.
I don't like it.
You know what? Like part of me embraces it. Like I embrace this sort of weird 90s zone that we're in. Like I fully embrace the 90s grossness. Like I kind of love it in a weird way. I mean, and this is another, it's like Detective Pikachu. I'm like, even just by seeing this poster, I'm like, well, I'll be there day one. It's either going to be great or it's going to be horrible. And I can't wait.
This poster just, I don't know, I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm ready to see a trailer. I want to see what this, I'm ready to see.
I'm ready to see what this monstrosity actually looks like.
Yeah. I'm ready to see this gross hedgehog monstrosity in like, I want to see what it looks like. Just show it to me. It's like in Tusk. Like when you're watching Tusk and you're like, I just want to see the weird walrus man. I'm ready. One more quick thing. Amy Adams says that she believes that she's done playing Lois Lane, and that as far as she knows, the DC movies are being revamped. So this is strange. I've got a quote. She was doing a Variety's like actor on actor series with who was it with? I think it was with why am I blanking on her name? The chick who's playing Nicole Kidman in Aquaman. She was doing an actor on actor thing. And I've got the quote from her here. She says, quote, "I think I'm out of the DC universe now. I think they're revamping that. I don't know the details," end quote.
See, it's weird. I'm telling you, like, the DC movies are just in a weird fucking place.
And of course, there have been all these rumors for a long time that like Affleck is out and like Henry Cavill might be out. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so strange because, like, as we said earlier, like, we have Aquaman coming out in a matter of days, and then like we've got Wonder Woman 1984 coming out in 2020. It's like, what's happening? You know?
Like, are these two movies gonna come out and then the fucking all that shit just gone, and then they revamp
and
it,
then obviously Suicide Squad 2 is like being helmed by James Gunn and stuff. What I bet you is happening, I bet you they're going to try to find a way to write out like Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, and I bet they're going to sort of like reboot the events of like Like all this shit, because we're the DC movies pretty much post Wonder Woman have been like solid, right? Like
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed Justice League, and Aquaman, from what I hear, is a really solid movie, and Wonder Woman was great, right? So these movies, sort of post Wonder Woman, have been in a good place that I wish DC had started out at, and I almost wonder if they're gonna like retcon the movies that came before and give us a new Batman and Superman.
It's kind of weird because Justice League exists.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna be like, that was a different universe. you know?
But then it's like if they have the same Aquaman and same Wonder Woman, it's a weird.
We pulled them in from their.
Oh God!
We pulled them in from their universe, and now they're in this universe, this new one.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much.
There is not gonna be a clean way of doing this.
There's no shit. There's gonna be a clean way.
I'm so like.
It's like how you have to. It's like you either got to reboot it all, or it's gonna be fucking weird.
It's already so strange, and I'm really curious. For better or worse, I am so interested in what DC is up to with their movies. Like, Disney and Marvel, like they have all their shit figured out, right? It's all great. They have it all figured out to a T. The movies are good and stuff like that. That's not interesting to me. The train wreck is interesting to me.
You're like watching the garbage truck on fucking fire.
The train wreck is the most interesting thing to me. That's the train wreck is what I want to watch, right?
It blows my mind. I've talked about this with you a couple times. It's just like the trying to build a cinematic universe, like what is it? Universal was trying to do that shit,
yeah,
with their dumbass like monsters or whatever the fuck they were trying to call.
I was on board for that though.
I hear this thing. Oh, no, I was completely on board with it. But like the thing is, you can't force it.
Yeah, I have such a soft spot for the old Universal monsters. I was actually like down for that.
Again, I'm completely open to that idea, but you can't just. Fuck you, we have a cinematic universe. You need to build into it. And if you don't build into it properly, you get the flops of the Universal movies, and then you get the flops of the DC fucking up.
I still love the idea of them releasing like, a Jekyll and Hyde movie or a Wolfman movie or whatever. And at the end of it, like fucking Buddy from Shape of Water pops up. It's like, oh shit, that was actually like a Creature of the Black Lagoon movie, and
you've had that fucking thought for like ever since we saw Shape of Water.
That would have been badass, dude. And like that is retroactively like an Academy Award winning Universal Monsters movie. That would be crazy. Because like here's the thing that works about a lot of these movies is like the standalone movies are often better because they're standalone. So like Wonder Woman has basically nothing to do with the greater DC universe, and it's a better movie for it. If they did this Universal Monsters movie and it's like, oh, The Shape of Water, that's actually our Creature of the Black Lagoon movie, right? That would have been cool. I don't know. I think that would have been cool. I don't know. I think some people would hear that and be like, oh no, you would sully this perfect piece of art by putting it in an expanded universe. I think it would have been cool. I would love it if the quote unquote expanded universe Universal Monster movies were all these like art house films, right? Like The Shape of Water. Like The Shape of Water is sort of this airy like fairy tale sort of movie. If they all had that sort of art house vibe, but they were in a connected universe, I would be so on board with that shit.
You know what's fucked up is like the only thing that I really remember about that movie is that shit with that dude's finger.
Yeah. We have an episode of Shots on that. Go back and listen to that.
Check it out.
promote. Ding ding. Interesting though, but like I said, I am infinitely more excited to see. I'm just like it's like you saw. It's as if DC came into our living room and took a big old shit in the middle of it. And now I'm just sort of laid back on the couch. I'm like, all right, clean it up. I want to see how you clean this up. You goddamn it, DC! You came in, you shat all over the place, and now you know what? Now you got to clean it up. I'm very interested to see how you clean this up, DC.
You're not wrong. Like I do want to see if they could actually fucking build something out of this crap.
The thing that I think they need to embrace is the fact that they're never going to be Marvel. Marvel is an impossible titan. They're never going to do better than Marvel. Period. And what they should do is say fuck the expanded universe, and maybe that is what they'll do. Maybe they'll say fuck like.
See, that's the thing. I wouldn't mind just standalone movies.
Yeah, just fuck building up to any sort of anything. Just like, hey, like, you know what? You just get an Aquaman movie, and you just get it. And, maybe every now and then those worlds sort of collide. Like, maybe Wonder Woman could appear in, a Batman solo movie, but...
Like, this is the thing. It'd technically be like an expanded cinematic universe, but not really.
But the movies can be connected without them building into a big event picture like the Avengers movies, right?
Yeah, like building into the Infinity War bullshit.
Yeah. They don't necessarily have to build into that. They can be... I actually like that idea. I kind of hope that that's the direction that they take this. But we'll see. The shit on the floor analogy. You shot on my floor. Just clean it up. Let's see what you do.
It's a good analogy. It's true though.
So we got this past week 2 kind of game shows, the Game Awards and the Kind of Funny Games Showcase. And I want to just sort of, kind of go through. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this. There are some things that I want to stop and talk about, but I do want to just sort of like go through the bullet points here. I looked through all of the news items, watched both of them live and stuff like that, and I just kind of cherry picked the announcements that I thought were worth highlighting. First of all, what did you make of the Game Awards in general? I know you didn't watch it, but how did you feel about? I mean, you saw who won what awards.
I agree with almost every award that I saw.
That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with, by and large, I agree with a lot of them. I think that Celeste was sort of robbed for best soundtrack.
That was the only one that I was like, why though?
Red Dead's got good music, but I'm like...
I mean, yeah, it's got good music, but I don't think it deserved best soundtrack.
Celeste deserved it over it. Octopath Traveler deserved it over it.
Yeah, because it's different. It's a different thing to say, because it did win best audio design as well, didn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's one thing for Red Dead to win audio design. It's another thing for it to win soundtrack.
Yeah, that one was strange to me. I'm happy that sort of I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays Arthur Morgan won best performance.
Yeah, I'm happy that was that was won best performance. Fantastic, because I've said it since I played Red Dead. Arthur Morgan's without a doubt probably my favorite Rockstar protagonist of all time.
Yeah, I'll say this: I was happy to see Celeste because Celeste was up for like Game of the Year, and I knew it wasn't going to win Game of the Year. But
it wasn't going to.
It was cool that it won the Games for Impact award and it won the Best Indie Game award. That was cool to see. Celeste, I sort of was rooting for Celeste the whole time, but the important thing to me was that God of War won Game of the Year overall.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I know everybody... I was fully expecting Red Dead to win it because Red Dead was just cleaning up all night long, right?
Yeah, it's a thing that, I wouldn't have been surprised if it happened, but I do think God of War still... I'm happy it did win because I think it deserves it.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think God of War, absolutely... deserves it, and I mean, we'll get into our own personal...
this is coming from somebody that loves the shit out of Red Dead 2, so
yeah. I mean, look, we'll get into our own personal Game of the Year discussions at the end of the year, but I was very, very happy to see God of War win that award. Surprised and delighted. But in terms of the news items that come out of these events, I do want to just kind of rapid fire some of these and kind of get our thoughts on them. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled was revealed, a sort of remake of Crash Team Racing. It's coming June 21st, 2019. You CTR fan?
That's something I totally missed.
Really? I
didn't even know about that announcement, and I never played it in general.
Oh man, CTR is good. It's funny. There are 2 kart racers that you could make the argument. I don't necessarily agree with this argument, but you could make the argument that they're better than Mario Kart. And that is Diddy Kong Racing and CTR. Because those games are a lot more. I'll say this: they're definitely more deep than Mario Kart is. I think the gameplay.
Let me tell you right now. Diddy Kong Racing was my shit.
Diddy Kong Racing is a fantastic game. Don't get me wrong, but I think the gameplay of Mario Kart is just rock solid. But Diddy Kong Racing, like the story mode, like the adventure mode, I'm missing that in racing games. Anyway, so CTR, excited about that. That's coming next June, and it's sort of getting the sort of kind of remaster treatment that the Crash Insane trilogy and the Spyro trilogy just got. So that's cool.
Okay.
Far Cry New Dawn coming next February. Way sooner than I expected this game. Like, they leaked this game a few days in advance of the event, and like, I'm actually shocked that it's coming so soon. I mean, we'll be playing this game in 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely picking that up.
Oh,
though. Like that's.
I'm all over it. It's coming. It's $40. It sort of seems like it is the kind of Far Cry Primal for Far Cry 5. The sort of, and I mean, I loved Far Cry Primal personally.
I love the shit out of that game. Like that was like we both got pretty dumb with Far Cry Primal.
I thought it was great, and this one is basically Far Cry in the post-apocalypse. So I'm on board with that. I'm totally on board with that. A lot of people are making like negative comparisons, saying like oh wow, like Rage, like this looks really similar to Rage 2. All the sort of colorful apocalypse of Rage 2 is and Far Cry New Dawn are very similar, right? There's a lot of pink,
Yeah.
But I really, I was really surprised that they like dead ass spoiled the ending of Far Cry 5 in revealing this game.
That's funny, as I didn't even think about that.
Well, like even like the creative director took the stage of the Game Awards, and even he was like, "We all know that after the nukes went off at the end of Far Cry 5." I'm like, "Fuck, your game's not that old."
What about people that didn't know that? What about the people that didn't play that game?
Like, wow, okay. This game, from what I understand, this game is set 17 years after the events of Far Cry 5. And
Okay.
I don't know if you watched the reveal trailer, but there's actually a little tease of like Joseph's Seed at the end of it.
Oh shit! I didn't even see
So
that.
I'm actually intrigued. This is even more so than Far Cry Primal. This seems like it is sort of going to be a over-the-top, crazy expansion like Primal was, but it's also sort of a sequel to Far Cry 5. And it's releasing at $40. So I'm all over it. I'm
I'm completely down for
all
it.
over it. A major announcement: Mortal Kombat 11 coming next April. This was not a surprise in terms of like we all kind of knew that NetherRealm's next game was going to be Mortal Kombat 11, right?
Of course,
Because they've been flip-flopping for a long time between like Injustice and Mortal Kombat, and this will probably be their last game of this generation. But I mean, what did you think of this trailer?
I made the joke of, I guess Raiden went dark side again.
Yeah, seems to happen a lot, right?
It's like I feel like he goes dark side every couple games.
Right. It's like, is there not anything more interesting to do with Mortal Kombat's story than that?
I don't. It's like what's the reasoning behind it now? It's like I'm like, yeah. Like,
So
I mean, I like Mortal Kombat. I don't know if I'm gonna get this one. Like,
yeah, it's weird. I don't really. It's rare for me to spend $60 on a fighting game that isn't Smash. Honestly.
I'll say this is in the realm of a fighting game conversation. I think the only fighting game that I'm like somewhat interested in is that fucking Shonen Jump one, that Shonen Force or the fuck.
Oh,
it's
Jump
called.
Force? Yeah.
Yo, Jump Force. There you go.
I 100% would love to play that. I'm not going to buy it, but I would love to play that game.
I feel like I am gonna buy it just because I like the premise.
Oh, I love the premise. I think the game looks great. I can't justify spending $60 on it because I know
that's the thing. I might wait till it's on sale.
in my heart of hearts, I know that I would only play it for like a few hours.
Oh god, that's the realest shit.
So I can't justify spending $60 on it. But if I saw it on sale, I'd probably get it. But I have a few Mortal Kombat 11 rumors here. Really, not even rumors. It's basically leaks because this comes from a listing on GameStop Italy, of all places. they sort of have some details that we did not know about previously. A few bullet points here that are roughly translated. New game engine with even more bloody scenes, which duh. But this is interesting. New customization system with clothes, accessories, and move sets never seen before. So seems like the sort of armor clothes thing from Injustice might be carrying over to MK11.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move.
This is the most. So they have strong multiplayer component, fully oriented towards esports, personalization systems, daily news, constantly updated rewards, and an improved matchmaking. That's cool. So they're doubling down on the sort of online multiplayer esports aspect of it. It sounds like this is very interesting to me. New fatality, as well as the new Gore-Tex system to make the executions even more brutal. Gore-Tex, that's interesting to me, and I wonder the place that my head goes, and I'll be a little bit disappointed if this isn't what ends up happening. But when I first read that, I was like, does this mean like customizable fatalities?
Ooh.
How cool would that be? If you could you could sort of make your own fatality. God, that'd be awesome. I don't know. Anyway, Mortal Kombat's fun. I've always enjoyed Mortal Kombat, but it's probably not going to be a day one purchase for me, but
yeah, I think honestly, like fighting games, there's like if they're on sale, I might grab it.
Yeah, very cool for the Mortal Kombat fans though, and certainly a major announcement for the show. There's a new story trailer for Anthem that was shown out at the Game Awards. Did you watch that?
I didn't. It was actually one of the ones I was like, yeah, I don't care enough to watch the story trailer.
It was cool, but I was like, why are you only just now talking about the story of Anthem? Like, it's so strange. It's the inverse of BioWare's usual attempt.
It's a weird thing. Is I think that game is going to be more gameplay forward than its story.
Yeah, and like, I'm at a crossroads with Anthem where I'm like, I think the gameplay looks great, but I don't come to BioWare games strictly for the gameplay. I mean, like, it's kind of their job to show me what makes this game a BioWare game. Like, why should I give a shit about this coming from BioWare? Because honestly, based on everything we've seen, anybody could have made this game. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have the, and this trailer tried to sort of be like, oh no, look, there's characters and there's a story and stuff like that, but you don't really, like, it doesn't seem like anything crazy. I don't know. Obsidian has revealed their new IP. It's called The Outer Worlds, and it's coming in 2019.
Day one, son. Day one.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this game. Very, very interested. It looks like exactly the sort of RPG. I mean, it has like the sense of humor of like Borderlands and stuff like that, which obviously is right up your alley. You're a big Borderlands fan. But the thing that excited me the most about this trailer was the moment at the end where like there's sort of a moment of like player choice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very cut and dry sort of player choice thing, but I loved that the NPC commented on it. Mm-hmm. Like, whoa, you didn't have to do that. I loved that. And I was like, oh man, if that sort of stuff is going to happen throughout the course of a big meaty like RPG shooter, like I'm so into that. Like that's what really drove me through Fallout New Vegas and made me ultimately enjoy Fallout New Vegas more than any of the other games, because it was
Fallout New Vegas is best Fallout.
Yeah, and it's funny, especially now, because people have sort of come around to that school of thought with New Vegas.
It's funny, is like I think I've been in that school of thought for like a long time.
Yeah, it took. I mean, when I first started playing New Vegas, I mean, I don't know if you got that game at launch or not.
I definitely didn't. No.
Yeah, so that game at launch was a mess.
Oh, I fucking believe it.
A mess. And like, it was frustrating because I was like, man, the writing in this game is the best of Fallout, but like, it is so buggy and like almost unplayable. It was so buggy. And obviously it became much more playable as time went on.
Is it which game had the Pit DLC?
That was Fallout 3.
Was it Fallout 3? Because I was remembering a buggy piece of shit, and I remember that was pretty
That
bad
was
when it came
really
out.
bad, dude. I remember playing that, and like there were entire like areas of the environment.
Bro, I was talking to you when you were playing it. I remember that's why I was remembering
There are
it.
entire areas of the environment that were just, and I got it day one, but I didn't like. It's not as if I managed to get like an early pre-release build, or I just got it like you were supposed to on day one and everything, and I go to play it.
But it was a pre-release build.
It felt like it because there were buildings that were just replaced by big like caution signs and stuff.
Yep.
And like the game, it was like constantly crashing. I was like, wow, this is really bad. I couldn't believe it. And anyway, New Vegas though is great and very player choice driven. I think ultimately that's why this excites me a lot. Is because I feel like this is going to sort of bring the element of player choice that I was missing in Fallout 4. Because like I liked Fallout 4, but I was like, fuck, where is the player choice?
Yeah.
And this seems like it's going to sort of bring that back to these shooters, and I'm very, very interested in it. And it's being helmed by the creators of Fallout, so I'm very, very intrigued by this.
Yep.
And not a part of the Microsoft deal, obviously. This is coming by way of a. They already had a publisher, before Microsoft bought them, and Microsoft is honoring that agreement.
So I'll be getting this on PS4.
Right. Exactly. So, Hello Games is working on a new short that they're calling it a Hello Game short called The Last Campfire. Did you see this?
Nope. Something I completely skipped over.
It looks to be sort of a cutesy kind of like puzzle game. It looks really, the art is gorgeous. And we haven't seen much.
What's it
called?
called?
The Last Campfire. We haven't seen much of it. It was a pretty short little trailer, but it looks gorgeous and it looks right up my alley.
Just from like the thumbnails that I'm seeing, yeah, I really enjoy the way that looks.
Weirdly enough, like the protagonist or the sort of characters of the game look very much like the protagonist of Journey. Like if you actually just like look up The Last Campfire.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I see it.
They look a lot like the main character of Journey, to the point where I'm like, is this okay? Like is it okay that you guys are doing this? I'm a little surprised at like how similar it is, but anyway, the game looks really good. We don't have a whole lot more to kind of take from this than that because it's not coming out until next year, and they said they're going to talk more about it later. Supergiant's next game was revealed. It's called Hades, and it's in early access now. Supergiant is the studio behind Transistor and Bastion and Pyre, a studio that I have personally followed for a long, long time. And Hades, I think I was telling you about this, and everybody loves it. The people that have been playing it in early access really, really like it. It is a roguelike, kind of isometric Dark Souls, similar to Dark Souls, kind of like combat-focused game based on Greek mythology, it seems like. So it sounds really good and looks really good with all of the art and music that kind of comes part and parcel with Supergiant games. But from what I understand, the interesting thing about this one is while it is roguelike and it is sort of like run-based, it still manages somehow to have a narrative, like a linear story. Because roguelike games are normally kind of light on story. This one is not. So, I don't know. I'm very intrigued on it. This one is very, like, a heavily story-based roguelike sounds good to me.
That sounds interesting to me.
Looping back to BioWare here. BioWare, stupidly, just as rumor had it before the Game Awards, teased the next Dragon Age game for some reason.
That's such a dumb fucking move.
Even though, by all reports, the next Dragon Age game is several years away.
It's... I hate that shit. I hate when they hey, we haven't started working on this really type of shit, but
it's exactly
go.
what they did with Mass Effect Andromeda, right? It almost feels desperate to me. Like, It's like a desperation move. It's just like Bethesda with Elder Scrolls 6, right? So
I still like always think back to like fucking when Tyler messaged me like after like he's like, dude, Elder Scrolls 6, and I'm like, yeah, and you didn't see shit.
yeah, and that's the reaction they want. That's all that matters to them. They just want to keep people interested for long enough because they know that they don't actually have anything, you know.
Like I remember how everyone lost their shit with Elder Scrolls 6. Just like I was like, what?
Yeah, you saw nothing. I mean, it's cool that there's confirmation that it's happening, but there's nothing to be gleaned from this. But and this is similar. So it's a very brief teaser. Wasn't even like rendered in any sort of game engine. It was like just that sort of Dragon Age has got this like art style with their cutscenes where it sort of looks like it's like a tapestry or something like that.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and they put the hashtag the Dread Wolf Rises, which if you're a Dragon Age fan, you sort of know the deal behind that. I don't know if you're a big Dragon Age person or if you.
I'm not that big into it. I just know that I know some shit about it, but that's kind of like that's a BioWare like franchise I didn't really fuck with.
Yeah, so the Dread Wolf is basically a character, sort of like the Dragon Age version of like Loki, and
Okay.
there is a character. I won't spoil it for people who, if you're playing Dragon Age right now and you're hearing me talk about this, oh fuck, you know. But I was just playing Dragon Age, even though the last Dragon Age game came out like several years ago at this point. There's a character in Dragon Age, I won't say who it is, but it is revealed at the end that this character is actually a vessel for a god kind of deity known as the Dread Wolf, who is a sort of a not necessarily evil deity, but definitely a mischievous, like ill intent deity. And it sort of seems like the next Dragon Age is going to revolve around that character. So that's all that there is to say about that. According to Jason Schreier at Kotaku, the game is literally like 3 to 4 years away. And like development has barely begun on it.
All right then.
Last bit of news from the Game Awards I want to touch on before we move into the Kind of Funny Games showcase is that Persona 5's Joker has been announced as Smash's first DLC fighter. What do you make of that?
I mean, it's all right.
I mean, I know you're not a Persona fan, but like,
I mean, that's the thing. It's just like I'm always down for new fighters from other games than fucking Fire Emblem.
do you know anything about Persona at all?
Not really. Like it's just not my type of game.
So the interesting thing about the reason that I think people are very excited about this is because this character in the sort of lore of Persona. So Personas are sort of like collectible fighters. It's almost like Pokemon, but like it's a little bit darker than Pokemon. They fight for you and fight alongside you. And this character Joker is the only character in Persona 5 that can command multiple personas. So and they even reference, you know, him commanding personas in the trailer for this. And it's kind of interesting because it's like, oh wow, like you're going to have a fighter, but you're also presumably going to have control over his multiple personas, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. They could go a lot of ways with this character, and it's exciting. And it's cool to see that a you know, Persona, you know, there's rumors that Persona 5 is coming to Switch now, but you know, Persona 5 has no history with Nintendo whatsoever, right? So it's cool. It gives me hope that Banjo is going to be a thing. I will continue beating that drum. So yeah, Kind of Funny Game Showcase. That was a thing that happened. So basically the narrative behind this. So PSX was canceled this year, right? And
Yep.
they Kind of Funny was like, hey, like we really liked that PSX highlighted some indie games, and we wanted to, now that PSX isn't a thing anymore, like we wanted to give indie games a platform to show off what they have, because indie games are just as good, if not better, a lot of the times than AAA games, right? Like indie games are my bread and butter, so I was very excited about this show. What did you make of this?
What? As a whole, man, it was shit. I saw some interesting shit.
Yeah, I've got a sort of a few bullet points here of some games that I mean, honestly, I sort of bullet pointed all of the games that I'm interested in, and like there's a good bit of games in here where I'm like, man, like there's some good indie games here. So we saw Super Meat Boy Forever. That's coming next April. Which I love Super Meat Boy, so I'm totally on board with that. This was an interesting one where when we watched the trailer for this, I was like, what the fuck is this, and why don't I know about it?
Was it the one where it's like the hipster RPG?
I mean that I guess it's called Y2K. Y2K, a postmodern RPG. It's coming January 17th, 2019. The thing that I love
that game looked weird.
The thing that I love about this is like it looks weird as fuck. Like it has like a total like Earthbound, Undertale sort of like look to it. Like it just got some weird shit in it. But then also it looks like a PS1 game. Like it looks like a late PS1, early PS2 game. And like I love that. Like I love these sort of like polygonal style. Like I really wish more indie games would come out like that. Like now that we've done the whole pixel art thing, there's a million games that are made in pixel art, right? I want to see games that look like shitty polygonal late 90s, early 2000s. Like I want that to take off, right?
That's my aesthetic.
It is. Like I love that aesthetic. I want games to look like they were made on N64 and PS1. You know what I mean? So I'm very intrigued by this game. Apparently, it's actually already come out on like PC and stuff like that, but this is just sort of it's coming to consoles. Mike Bithel's new game, Quarantine Circular, was launched like today, kind of thing, like during the showcase.
Yeah.
I've already bought my copy of it. I just haven't played it yet. If you remember, Subsurface Circular was on my top 10 last year, so I am very excited to sit down and play this. I loved Subsurface Circular, and this seems like it's going to be at least related to it. This one was interesting. There's a reveal of a game called Moving Out, which basically looks like Overcooked, if Overcooked was about moving furniture.
I said if there was like some sort of online co-op, I would actually love to play that with you.
Yeah, I kind of hope that there is, because that would actually be fun. Although my wife and I have almost broken up / divorced like over Overcooked so many times. Like it is so goddamn frustrating. It's very satisfying when you manage to pull it off, but it is so you fucking chop the fucking tomatoes. It's so bad. This one was funny. So when this trailer started, we were like, whatever, and then they showed gameplay and we're like, oh, this actually looks cool.
Which one?
It's called Operencia, the Stolen Son.
Oh.
The trailer started and it was a very like sort of airy like Operencia and the magical fairies and shit like that. And we were like, oh, whatever. And then like they showed gameplay and it is this sort of like old school ass like grid based dungeon crawler.
Yeah. I'd play it, honestly. Like it looked good.
Had a very good like art style and like the graphics looked very good. I think it's only coming to PC for now, but I was like, wow, that actually looks pretty dope. So this is one we're both interested in, Vane.
Yeah.
That's coming next year. Actually next month at this point, January 15th, to PS4. It's actually a PS4 exclusive for now.
I did not know that. Well, I mean, that's probably one I'm gonna end up picking that up. Honestly, I'm interested in it.
Seems like it is sort of a third-person puzzle game where it has a sort of like dark aesthetic, and you play as a boy who can like turn into a crow. I guess. I don't really know like the gameplay trailer.
It's kind of like, I mean, you're not like, it's kind of all we really know, honestly, type of shit.
Yeah, I want to like buy it and support it and stuff because I think it looks really cool, but I'm also like, what is this though?
Real shit.
It'd be cool if the developers gave like a sort of gameplay demo to be like, this is exactly what type of game this is. But another game that stood out to me, it's called Ape Out. Which is basically Hotline Miami, but you play as a gorilla in a business office, and you're just beating the shit. Just beating the shit out of people. That's coming February 7th. I think that's coming to PC and Switch. So I'm all over that. Falcon Age. I'm all over this, Todd. You know I love a good Falcon.
Which one was Falcon Age? Was that the...
Falcon Age was the PS4/PSVR game where you have a little Falcon buddy.
Yeah, I was actually... It's funny, I'm kind of interested in that myself.
I was like, shit, I'm on board for this.
And the thing is, I could probably fuck with it in VR.
Yeah, you have a PSVR, so you could probably do that. I mean, I like that they said PSVR mode is available, but you can play it standard. So,
but I want to be able to fist bump it with my own hands.
Yeah, you can fist bump the little Falcon buddy, and I don't know, it looks really good. The art is really good. I don't know. We've got Desert Child, which actually comes out today at the time of this recording, so I actually kind of want to check it out. It looks like it's sort of a brawler / racing game with a really cool art style that seems to be like a totally like Cowboy Bebop inspired art style, kind of a sci-fi cyberpunk game. Very interested in this one. That trailer was definitely, I was like, oh, you have my attention. Dawn Thorn is something that it is a spin-off game. It is a spin-off of this game. I think it's called like Hazelnut Bastille, which is a very bad title for a very cool looking game. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, it's called Hazelnut Bastille, and it's a sort of 16-bit Zelda inspired game. It almost looks like a Link to the Past, like the style of it. Like just the art and the sort of like, puzzles and stuff like that. It's a, top-down 16-bit Zelda-like action-adventure game. And Dawn Thorn is kind of like it's a spin-off game of that, but it's in an 8-bit style, so it sort of looks like, Zelda 1, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks cool, it looks interesting. I'm definitely like interested in it. I wish the name wasn't so stupid, but I'm intrigued. So this was a big surprise. So the next game from the Yakuza team revealed their new game. It's called Judgment, which we've sort of known about for a little while if you follow the Yakuza series. Which, it's funny. I feel like I really like have my ear to the ground with Yakuza, even though I've never beaten a Yakuza game. Like, I like that series, but I've never actually finished a Yakuza game. I own like a lot of them, but I've never actually sat and finished one. But so this basically looks like Yakuza, but with a new story. I think it actually has been confirmed to be taking place inside of Yakuza's world.
Mm.
And you're playing as a detective this time, which is interesting. I'm intrigued by the story.
Was it the fact that you're playing as a detective or like a former lawyer?
I think it's both. I think he's a former lawyer who started a detective agency.
Oh, okay.
And you are tracking down a serial killer who is killing Yakuza members and cutting out their eyes. So, I like the sort of vibe of like, I always like detective stories where the detectives have to solve the crimes against the bad guys too, right? Like, they can't pick and choose the crimes they're trying to solve. Like, even though the people that are being murdered are pieces of shit, Yakuza, you're still having to deal with that, right? It's not just the good people that crimes happen to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm intrigued by that. I think that could make a potentially very interesting story. And like graphically, it looks gorgeous. And if it's anything like the Yakuza series, the thing that the Yakuza series is very, very good at is nailing Japan. And the reason that I like playing Yakuza is not even like, I don't really play Yakuza as a game. I play it as a tourist. Like, I play Yakuza basically to visit Japan. It is such an accurate representation of Japan and a sort of like a voyeuristic take on Japan where you can just walk inside of like a convenience store and just like look around, and you can go to karaoke, and you can go to like hostess clubs and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's if they integrate the depth of the sort of Japan simulation that Yakuza is known for, and they put a really good detective story behind it, I am totally on board. That sounds really good to me. That's coming out next summer. The final little surprise that we got for the Kind of Funny Game Showcase is that The Walking Dead final season is indeed returning with Skybound, featuring a lot of the former Telltale devs. Seems like they're actually doing it under a new development moniker called Still Not Bitten, I guess. They sort of made a new team around it, and they showed a trailer for episode 3, which is coming out January 15th, 2019. So that was cool. I'm still going to wait for the whole thing to wrap up before I play it.
Just to be sure.
Exactly. I'm like, I am to the point now with I am so gun shy now with episodic games. I am now, I'm going to wait now for episodic games.
I don't blame you, dude. It's a dangerous game with episodic games nowadays.
I cannot, I can't do that anymore. After this whole snafu, I'm like a changed man with episodic games. So once episode 4 is out and it's done and everything, I'll go and I'll play through all of it and I'll have a good time. But, honestly, it's cool that Skybound came in and picked up the bones of this and sort of is making sure that Clem's story is finished in a satisfactory way. And I'm glad that they picked up a lot of old Telltale devs and are giving those people a home, What I'm curious about is what's going to happen to Still Not Bitten after this.
Yeah.
Are they going to continue to make Walking Dead games, or are they just sort of finishing up this game and calling it a day? I'm intrigued by this. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But that's pretty much all of the things I wanted to highlight from the 2 shows. I think there were 2 good shows that happened back-to-back, made for a pretty heavy news week, obviously. Made for a longer episode than we normally record, but, I wanted to cover it. Wanted to highlight some of the stuff that we, that I thought were interesting. So, anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up? Silence.
No, I'm good.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.